Don't fall for all the clickbaits about Stoicism. Let's debunk the myth of Stoicism once and for all, shall we? YouTube channels out there will tell you that it's all about dark psychology and ignoring women, but that's far from the truth. Stoicism is not about suppressing feelings or walking around with a permanent poker face. Stoicism is a lifestyle upgrade with a touch of ancient wisdom thrown in for good measure. It's about facing life curveballs with grace, like a ninja dodging shurikens, but with less dramatic backflips. Picture this. You're stuck in traffic, late for a meeting, and your car decides to pull a check engine stunt. Stoicism steps in and says, "Hey, it's just another day in the traffic jungle. Time to practice some deep breathing exercises and contemplate the beauty of brake lights without letting the inner Karen out and screaming like a maniac." It's all about finding tranquility in the chaos, like being the calm center of a hurricane party. It's about accepting what you can't control, like the weather or your neighbor's taste in music, and focusing on what you can, like your reaction to said weather and music. Earplugs, anyone? So if someone tells you Stoicism is just a mindset, kindly remind them that it's a full-blown lifestyle, complete with its own set of mental tools and philosophical hacks. And that's exactly why you should stick with us, because our channel is about practicality. It's all about how to exactly apply said philosophy. Seneca, the wise old sage of Stoicism, once wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from the imagination than from reality." This quote beautifully illustrates the essence of accepting what we can't control. When something unexpected or unpleasant happens, our initial reaction is often driven by our interpretation of the event rather than the event itself. We will panic. The first thing is the mind has this huge ability to amplify the significance of events, coloring them with emotions, fears, and anxieties. This can lead us down the rabbit hole of suffering, where our thoughts get out of control, creating worst-case scenarios in our minds. But these very events are emotional, not rational. And that's why Stoics say that it is important to cultivate the wisdom necessary to be able to handle these types of situations. When we understand that our interpretations are just judgments, we open ourselves to new perspectives. We can choose to reframe our experiences, shifting from a mindset of fear and suffering to one of acceptance and resilience. This doesn't mean denying reality or pretending that everything is sunshine and rainbows. It's about acknowledging and understanding the human experience to its fullest. For instance, let's say you view critical, constructive feedback as a personal attack on your abilities. Thoughts race from your mind. "I worked so hard on this project, and now my boss is tearing it apart. Maybe I'm not good enough for this job. Maybe I'll never succeed." The more rational approach would be to see the feedback as an opportunity for growth. You think to yourself, my boss raised some good points. I can use this feedback to improve my project and develop my skills. It's not a reflection of my worth as a person. It's a chance to learn and grow. In both interpretations, the event receiving critical constructive feedback remains the same. However, the emotional response and subsequent actions differ drastically based on how the feedback is interpreted. In the first interpretation, you would experience emotional distress, self-doubt, and a sense of failure. In the second, you would maintain a sense of resilience, curiosity, and determination. This interpretation is what helps us become more rational with our interpretations and develop a growth mindset, where challenges are viewed as opportunities for improvement rather than threats to one's self-worth, and hence start leading positive outcomes. What is resilience as far as Stoicism is concerned? In today's world of constant change and uncertainty, this principle of resilience will become a fatal weapon against all unpleasant situations. One way the Stoics would approach these situations is by reflecting over the impermanence of everything around us. Marcus Aurelius says, "Everything's destiny is to change, to be transformed, and perish, so that new things can be born." If everything in life stayed the same forever, it might sound nice at first, like having your favorite ice cream flavor available all year round. But think about it. If nothing ever changed, you'd miss out on all of the new experiences, opportunities, and adventures that make life interesting. This is where impermanence comes in. It's the idea that everything in life is temporary. Like the changing seasons or the phases of the moon, nothing lasts forever, not the good times or the bad times. And while that might sound a bit scary, it's actually a superpower in disguise. When we reflect over impermanence, we can learn to let go of attachment of all things, due to the nature of knowing that it is impermanent. Instead of clinging to the past or worrying about the future, we learn to live in the present moment, embracing each experience as it comes and goes. And here's where resilience comes into play. When we understand that everything is impermanent, we become more adaptable. Think about it this way. If you're playing a video game and you keep getting stuck on the same level, it's easy to get frustrated and give up. But if you remember that that game is always changing with new levels and challenges to conquer, you'll keep trying until you succeed. That's the importance of impermanence in building resilience. It reminds us that no matter how tough things seem right now, they won't last forever. And just like the seasons might change and the sun rises after a dark night, we too can bounce back from the setbacks and emerge stronger than ever. Another principle is to live in accordance with nature. This means recognizing the reality of our morality. Death, often feared or misunderstood, is as natural as the changing seasons. It's not an enemy to be fought, but a part of the life cycle, like the sunrise and sunset. To understand that in the grand scheme of nature, our lives are but fleeting moments. Stoicism teaches us to embrace all of this, to acknowledge the reality and to live according to it, because it's nature. It also allows us to live fully in the present moment, cherishing each breath, each heartbeat, as if it were our last. It's about creating genuine, everlasting connections, not trying to manipulate or seduce others like many channels would lead you to believe. It's about letting go of the trivialities or worries that consume our days and focusing on what truly matters. Love, joy, connection, justice, courage, and purpose. When we live with the awareness of our morality, every moment becomes a gift, every experience a treasure. We no longer waste our days chasing after fleeting fame or material possessions. Instead, we try to live authentically, to leave behind a legacy of love and kindness that will endure long after we're gone. So while death may be inevitable, it need not be feared. For in living in accordance with nature, we find the true meaning of life, a journey of wonder, of growth, and of love, embraced fully and without regret. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, it is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Imagine you wake up every morning with a sense of gratitude for the gift of another day, instead of dreading the passage of time. You see each sunrise as an opportunity to experience the beauty and wonder of life. Throughout your day, you approach each moment with mindfulness and intention, whether you're sipping your morning coffee, chatting with a friend, or taking a walk in the park. You savor your every sensation, every interaction, knowing that these simple pleasures are fleeting and precious. When faced with challenges and setbacks, you don't let fear or anxiety hold you back. Instead, you draw strength from the knowledge that life is short, and every moment is a chance to learn and grow. Everything will eventually change with this in mind. Instead of chasing after wealth or status, you focus on cultivating meaningful relationships, pursuing your passions, and making a positive impact in the world. You know that in the end, it's not the size of your bank account or the number of pages on your resume that matters, but the love and connections you share with others. As you grow older, You don't shy away from the reality of aging and eventual death. Instead, you embrace each stage of life with acceptance and grace, knowing that every experience, whether joyful or challenging, is a precious part of your journey. In living with accordance with nature, you find a deep sense of fulfillment and commitment. You know that one day your journey will come to an end, but until then, you choose to live each day fully, authentically, and with an open heart. How can we pursue virtue? Imagine this. You're faced with a choice. Do you take the easy road out? You dream of becoming a full-time artist, so you start landing small gigs here and there, with huge potential for growth, and the prospect of starting your own business. Or do you settle for a soul-draining call center job with mediocre wages that has no real potential of growth? The Stoics will always advise you to live by your virtues. Pursuing virtue is about taking the time to do things right, to act with integrity and honesty, even when no one is watching. But what exactly is virtue? Well, think of it as a set of moral qualities that define what it means to be a good person. It's about embodying traits like wisdom, courage, justice to yourself and the world, and compassion in everything you do. When you pursue virtue, you're not just checking boxes or following a set of rules. You're striving to be the best version of yourself, both for your own sake and for the greater good. Whether it's standing up for what's right, lending a helping hand to those in need, following your dreams, or practicing self-discipline and self-control. And here's the best part. The more you pursue virtue, the more fulfilling and meaningful your life becomes. Instead of chasing after fleeting pleasures or external validation, you'll begin to find true happiness and contentment in living with your values and principles. Epictetus says, "What is the goal of virtue after all, except a life that flows smoothly?" So the next time you're faced with a choice, ask yourself, what would virtue do? And remember, being virtuous isn't about being perfect. It's about striving to be better every day, one small act of kindness or courage at a time. Join our channel to revive true Stoicism. Like, share, and comment below with a situation where Stoic principles made a difference in your life. Let's inspire others with real examples of resilience and inner strength. Together, let's make Stoicism a guiding light for all.